in a way, we're doing our relationships upside down, especially when we talk about intimacy, life partnership, marriage, romantic relationships. They're the brightest examples when instead of feeling vibrant, alive, connected, pulsating with the life force, we find ourselves in this kind of boring, habitual, automated patterns that makes us feel stuck, depressed, uh, disappointed, bored. And it's not like we don't love each other, right? It's not like you don't love your husband or your wife. It's not like you don't love your boyfriend, right, or your romantic partner or your intimate partner. It's more like you feel you get stuck in these patterns, and the walls of separation start to grow between you. And it's not about like growing apart, that you just have completely different interests. That can also happen. It's more like you don't know how to connect anymore because you generated so many affirmations, so many templates that don't belong to your intimate space at all, that have nothing to do with your internal experience and your internal truth, that you don't even know how to start bringing you and your partner back to this place of the truth, to this place of honesty, of emotional vulnerability, of like, okay, can I share how I really feel without hurting his feelings or her feelings? Can I share my inner conflict? Can I show up the way I feel in this raw way that I'm still figuring out myself? So we're not practicing that, and that creates that stagnant, that painful, stuck energy field between partners, and the walls of separation start to grow in between. So that's what I'm talking about. The reason it happens is because we prioritize those societal templates, scripts, and labels more than our real authentic connection in the present moment. What really matters of how you feel right now and how your partner feels right now. If you feel disconnected, that's important to voice that. If you feel irritated, it's important to voice that rather than like avoiding and like trying to camouflage it into something else, because another person can sense it and they just don't have internal permission to pierce that bubble of the delusional bubble. That's what we need to do, what we should do, to create space for intimacy. And for many couples, it feels so scary that they can't do it on their own. And they start, when they try, they actually make it worse, because at some point, those templates, the habitual rules, that we learn of what we should feel, what we should say, of how our partner should feel about us, about the relationship, what they should say and do. And if they don't do that or don't say that, that hurts our feelings. But what if it's their truth, right? It makes a huge difference. Like, do we want to hear those lies, those camouflaged templates that most people use after living years and years together? And the more they live, the thicker these walls of separation become. When they start when they try to address the truth, it's already too painful, too late, too much. You have to kind of like reveal it all, or say nothing, right? That feels like that. And if you say nothing, like, it feels kind of empty and kind of space of swampy, kind of dead area. And if you like address it, it feels like the avalanche is coming on you, right? So it's like, it's really, really hard. And I want to acknowledge it. And I want to, if you experience it right now, many actually women in the world are experiencing this right now, and some of them choose to pull that thread and create that avalanche or chain reaction, and some women just still are afraid to do so because the relationship is good enough for where they are right now, and there's too much pressure and stress in other areas of life that they're afraid to lose their support system. They're afraid to lose their partner, their friend who like is there for them at least, doing things together, doing duties and hardships of life together. So it's really, really hard, right? And it takes lots of education, it takes lots of skill building practices, it takes lots of awareness, self exploration, and understanding how energy works in intimate space between feminine and masculine. So it is complex challenge that most people are not really equipped to do on their own. That's why more and more people seek support, seek uh, more professional help. And by professional help, I even more than old school talk therapy, even more than marriage and family counseling, because some of those schools are still under umbrella of template-based approach, like script-based, rule-based, shoot-based approach. And what I find is extremely attractive about Tantra is that Tantra is based on the agreement of truth and growth, right? Truth in the moment, in the present moment. What is the truth of the present moment? And what are the roots of this truth that we feel in the present moment? Of course, if we've never addressed this truth, it's been accumulating for years and years and years. And that's what was feeding these walls of separation between you and your partner, right? And it's painful. Once you start pulling those threads, once you start digging out those roots, it is painful. So most people stay in a place of avoidance, of camouflage, of just sweeping under the rug, right? Or you just get divorced or separated. So it is art to heal the relationship space, intimate relationship space, and it's art learning the skills to address the truth and constantly cleaning the energetic space between intimate partners, right? It's like it is constant housework, but it doesn't feel like work once you start relaxing into that space and trusting this space and trusting yourself and trusting your partner for showing up that way. And then growth creates an opportunity for a surprise every single day. So it's not boring. That's why tantric relationship, the sacred union, is proved to be an extremely sustainable model for passionate, real, vibrant, intimate relationships, because it never fades. It never becomes boring, because there is always something new when you grow. If something doesn't grow, it starts to die. This is the universal law. And the same applies to our relationships. So when we don't bring our truth in the moment, that constantly changing, by the way, and this is what creates growth. This is when relationships start to become boring, and this is when they start to die. So this is just such foundational piece here that I wanted to share with you, and I hope it will give you some light, right? It will give you some spark of inspiration and understanding of what is possible for you to shift if you feel stuck in your relationships.